Hello everyone! Are you having a hard time teaching your kids on how to count? Watch this video because I'm going to show you how to count. Watch this video because I'm going to show you some tips on how to teach a child to count. But before that, I just want to let you know that reciting is different with counting. Why? Because reciting is memorizing numbers, while counting is the process of determining the number of objects. So I'm gonna share you some tips in reciting and in counting. So let's start with reciting tips. First, you must have a chart. We as a Filipino people, even though with the high technologies right now, we still want this kind of stuff inside our house. Am I right? Make sure that the chart is plain, because sometimes if there's a lot of characters, they're not focusing on the numbers. They're just looking at the cartoon characters in the chart. But if you don't have those kind of chart, you can print it out. So just like this. Second, you have to recite or memorize the numbers every day. But if you don't have time, you can do at least thrice a week. But make sure to point out the numbers while counting for them to recognize it. What I'm doing with my son is I'm the one who's reciting the numbers first while pointing it out, and he's just listening and looking at the numbers. And after a couple of months, he decided to do it by himself. And I let him because it's a sign that he's enjoying it. So in my case, we are doing it every night before we sleep, because I think he get used to it since I started doing it during nighttime. So he thinks that it is a game before we sleep. I started teaching my son when he was almost 3 years old. So before he turns 4, he already know how to count, memorize, and recognize the numbers. I'm not bragging it. I'm just sharing you some tips, and of course, being a mom, I'm so proud of him. So guys, you need a lot of patience, especially if you have 2 kids or more than 2 kids. Sometimes you don't have time to teach your kids, but of course, we understand you. So that's it for the reciting tips. To be summarized, again, first, you must have a chart. Second, as much as possible, do it every day. But you have to do it as if you're just playing. Third, guide them. You do it first. And then after that, let your kids do it. Next, let's proceed to the counting tips. So when it comes to counting tips, the kids are having a struggle with the concept. For example, while they're only touching one object, they're gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, or touching multiple objects, but they're just saying one number. Am I right? Have you noticed that your kids can count to 10, 20, or even 50, or even 100? But when you ask them to count, let's say, apples in their coloring book, they can't do it, right? Why? Because they don't understand the concept of numbers. There are many ways for children to understand the concept of counting. First, by pointing the objects while counting. For example, counting your fingers. While counting, you have to point at it. For example, you can ask your kids, how many fingers do we have? Let's count, okay? And then you can show them. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're pointing at it. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But you have to explain to them that the last number you said is the number of your fingers. Second, by moving objects from one place to another. For example, of course, at home you have markers, crayons, and many stuff for your kids. So I'm gonna try the markers. So you have to show it to them that while you're moving, you're also counting. So let's try. So let's count how many markers do you have, okay? So this is 1. So here, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, how many markers do you have? And then your kids gonna answer you, of course, 5, because you've already explained that the last number you stated is the number of the entire object. Third one is by counting objects in a line. So you're showing to them that when you're moving to the next number, you're also moving your finger. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, explain to them that the last number you stated is the number of the entire set or object or toys. So for them to know. So if you ask them how many Paw Patrol characters do we have, then they're gonna answer you correctly. Actually, there are many ways to practice counting every day. And examples are count their markers, count their toys, count their crayons, count your plates, your spoons, count how many are you in the family. Actually, there's a lot. So make sure that you do it with them as if you're just playing, for them to know that learning is fun. So that's it, guys. If you want to add some more tips, leave it in a comment section, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon for you to be updated every time I post a new video. I hope that you learned something new on this video. Thank you for watching. See you on my next video. Bye!